Hello and welcome to episode 6 of In the Darcells podcast, the dad pod that helps you to arrange your own little angels.
This week we look at the different ways that we keep our children entertained without screaming the house down, and also stopping your daughter from getting upset too.
We look at the transition from having an afternoon nap to going all day and how we can get through the witching hour.
We discuss the use of technology and screen time to help keep our child occupied, but also ensuring that it's educational.
And to finish off, we take a look at the different shows we watch with our daughters, the ones to avoid and the ones we can't wait to watch.
So, grab a brew, dunk your biscuit, and come and get up to no good in the doll's house. So Chris, how's your week been then?
Yeah, it's an eventful week to be fair. So I think we mentioned on last week's pod that Eden was going to start swimming lessons, and
oh yeah, you did.
Yeah. So yeah. I'm not afraid to ashamed to admit it, but I got quite emotional, to be honest. So we know she loves water, so that wasn't ever going to be an issue. But the issue would have been obviously meeting new people. And it was really busy. It was a cool little setup. So we went. It's at a local sort of private school, so it's a bit awkward because obviously my wife and my daughter go in the changing rooms, and then I'm in the changing rooms on my own. And obviously there's parents everywhere, and I'm like childless. So people are like, "What are you doing?" No, I've got a child here. But I kind of got ready because I thought I might have to go in as well to help out. So. Got changed, been sitting by the pool, and she was absolutely buzzing. She couldn't wait for go in. But then, obviously, when it was her turn, she was like grabbing hold of my wife's legs, and was really shy. I didn't want to go in, so we had to kind of pick her up and grab her and give her to the instructor, who was like amazing, was so good. So she just took her like a little just a metre or so out into the water, got her to kick her legs, and I gave her back pretty much instantly. Then sort of there's about 4 kids in the group, maybe 3. The other little boys had to go, and then come back to Eden again. She had to kind of give her to her, and then she took her out kicking, like went up maybe about 10 metres out, and then came back. And then from then on in, she just got each time she went in, she was progressively more kind of confident, and she was absolutely loving it. She was laughing. In fact, there was a bit where you had to put your head underwater and blow bubbles, but she couldn't because she was laughing. And then at the end, she had to kind of go down the side and kind of dive in. And the instructor sort of said, yeah, she's fearless. She'll be swimming in next to no time. So yeah, I couldn't really say anything because honestly I had a bit of a lump in my throat because I'd just seen her coming out of a shell, and obviously beforehand she did a little bit of the football before she had that, but she was definitely more confident. And what was really nice was that there was another little lad who was there he was trying really hard to kind of interact with Eden as well. He was in the pool while she was kind of sat on the edge. That took a while to get to sit on the edge to kind of kick her legs in, but yeah, it was buzzing. So she's going again tomorrow. So yeah, she'll be picking a brick up off the floor soon. And yeah, so
nice swimming in her pajamas.
Yeah, I remember doing that. It kicked off at me because I took my dressing gown, my nightcap. My slippers.
Slippers floating up.
Yeah. So Rachel's been in for scans on the new baby, and there was a bit of a concern over the size of the bump. So she went to have a so it's done with a tape measure, I think. And it's a bit awkward because you have so obviously your partner would have gone through the same. You probably still got it. You got a pack, and in there's a chart with an upsloping sort of. Yeah. There's a top,
in your red book.
Yeah, exactly. There's a top line and then a bottom line, and obviously that bit in the middle is where you should be. The measurement of the bump was a little bit under where that line is. So we had to go for a scan sort of Thursday, and they sort of said, yeah, she's probably about a week behind where she needs to be, but it's not the end of the world. It's actually closer to the line than she was beforehand. So we're going to have to go for another scan in a couple of weeks. But reading advice online and what the nurse said as well is you just need to make sure that she's going at her own rate, so she's increasing weight and size at her own rate and not necessarily worrying about the grid that you've been given, which almost seems a bit redundant, but still you can see what the averages are. So yeah, that's something to keep an eye on. And also Rachel's had a diagnosis of being anemic, so she's been lethargic and so tired for quite a long time now. It's just been such a difficult period for her. So yeah, it's finally good to get that diagnosis, and she's on iron tablets. But but they kind of take 2 to 4 weeks to kind of kick in. So when we walk past the posh houses of where we live, and they've got an iron gate, we just get to chew on the gate for a bit as well, just to get that extra bit, a little bit more.
Let's have a bit of a lick of that. See if it helps.
Don't take the paint off. Yeah. So that's our week. Yeah, pretty eventful. I'm bloody knackered now. We're supposed to go to a birthday party today, a 2-year-old birthday party. Not just me, I was going to take my daughter as well, but we just had to say, look, we're exhausted, and we find it tricky at the moment. We've like having downtime and stuff. We're working hard in the week, so I've just had to say, like, I couldn't really make it, and I felt really, really bad. So, but she was like really nice.
I mean, not talking about the bump and the anemia. Mm-hmm. Are those two things related, or is it something that's just completely unrelated and just two different things?
Probably. So our firstborn, she was always a little bit under where we needed to be, but I think that's because she was in an awkward position. So and my wife, she never really showed. I don't know if there's a combination of where the baby is, and also she's quite tall and slim anyway, so I don't think she has a massive bump. But yeah, possibly lack of iron. But I think with these tablets coming in now, they can. It's basically the lack of blood in the system because it's all going towards the baby. So possibly you might give birth to a frigging monster now she's on these tired, like Iron Woman. Lol.
It's just stood up straight. It's not lying down or curled into a ball. That's what just stood up straight. That's,
yeah. Well, you could actually see a toe out of the. We won't go there. So yeah, that's our week. How about yourselves? How's your little bubble getting on?
So we've had another interesting week. We've ended up we had a hospital appointment today actually. So we went to see the consultant about her reflux.
Right.
So I've talked about this in previous pods, but it's something that's obviously a concern because it's been going on for quite a while, and the medication that we've been given it's not been changed. So we're on the same medication, but it's been upped as her weight gets more.
Right.
So as her weight increases, you can give them a bit more of the medication, which we give to her once a day. So it's every night she has a omeprazole.
Yeah.
And without it, she really struggles. So without it, she'll the next day she'll be sick quite a lot.
Right.
If we've not given it to her. I mean, we've only had that happen once, and that was when we went away and we forgot to take the tablets with us.
Right.
So we were away for one night.
Yeah.
But the following morning she was really struggling. Yeah. So. We got home quick the next day so we could give her some more.
We might have sort of new fathers that are listening to it, or like expecting fathers or mothers maybe that might not know what reflux is. How is it described? How did they say what reflux was? So how could you describe what reflux is? So maybe if a parent is going through the same, they can actually say might be what we're going through.
So I mean, it's acid reflux. So. I've suffered with it as well, and basically you've got your tubes that go down to your stomach, and then you've got your stomach, and inside your stomach, that's where you can have acid being produced in excess.
Yeah.
And then acid reflux is when that acid goes up past the valve in your stomach and back up through your throat.
Oh God, yeah.
So it can cause various different symptoms. In babies, it's mostly being sick, to be honest, and you can smell it on their breath.
Yeah.
Like either a sicky smell or an acidic smell, sometimes like a bit of a cheesy smell.
Right.
But you can smell it on their breath. But for babies, the main symptom is sickness.
Yeah.
Not like a huge amount, but they'll throw up some of what they've just drank essentially.
Yeah.
The way the omeprazole works is it reduces the amount of acid that's in your stomach.
Right.
So it stops that acid from being produced, essentially.
Would that be the same as having like a Rennie or Gaviscon for adults?
So Gaviscon's different. So from our appointment today, we've been prescribed a Gaviscon as well.
Right.
So Gaviscon's like when an adult takes it, it's in liquid form.
Yeah.
What we have is like sachets, so we can mix it with the milk.
Right.
So it doesn't have a flavour to it, it's just a powder, essentially,
right.
that we mix with the milk. So every feed we're going to mix a bit with the milk. The way that works is that sits on top of whatever's in your stomach to stop the acid from coming up.
Okay, got you.
So it's like a barrier almost that stops it coming up.
Yeah.
Whereas the omeprazole tries to reduce the amount of acid that's being produced.
Right.
So they're two different things that work in two different ways. One of the things that our daughter's had for quite a long time is a cough. And if you're having regular acid, so I remember I was having a problem with acid reflux, and it went on for about 4 or 5 months, and it started to cause me to have a cough that wouldn't go away. Yeah. And it was because it was essentially, it is acid that's coming up in sort of vapour form, so it can burn your throat and your vocal cords.
Oh, God.
So, I mean, it obviously doesn't do it to the extent where it's like pouring acid on something, but it can cause an irritation, essentially. So, so today we've had that appointment. The consultant's brilliant. We've seen him twice now, the same consultant, once about reflux, once about constipation.
Either end then.
But but he's been really good both times we've seen him. And what I've found with consultants that's different to doctors is doctors only have a certain amount of time per patient, as it were. So when you're going to see your GP, they're going to be able to see you about one thing per appointment in most cases, because they've got to fit in so many appointments through the day. Yeah. So it's no fault of their own. They've just got to fit in a lot of appointments. When you go to see a consultant, they're given longer slots, which means that you've got more time to discuss the issues that are surrounding what you're talking about. Yeah. So they'll ask you a lot more questions, and they'll try and nail down in more detail what it is that they can do to help. Right. But they'll also not sort of confine you to just speaking about one thing. No. So like today, because we've seen him before, we saw him about a month ago about the constipation. He asked us today how that was going as well, because he'd prescribed us a different medication for that, and sort of given us a plan to move forwards with it to help, right. Which is working really well. So obviously he was chuffed that his advice had gone down well, and what was prescribed had been working. Yeah. But as part of our visit to the hospital today, we had to have a chest X-ray, right? Which, we didn't. Our daughter did. That would have been a bit of pointless. So we went down to X-ray. In the children's section of the hospital, they do have an X-ray department, but it's not open at the weekends. Oh, nice. So we had to go across to where A&E was. So we had a bit of a walk to the other side of the hospital. We got in really quickly. The guy that let us in was opening all the doors so we could get the buggy through, because a lot of them are double doors and only one side opens. Right. So he was making sure that they were completely open. Lovely guy. We got in there. There was a lady in there that was doing the X-ray, and she kept our little girl entertained whilst we were trying to take her clothes off and stuff to get her ready for being X-rayed. Yep. So she was really good as well. And then the X-ray bit's kind of hard because you have to lie them flat. It was a chest X-ray. Yeah. So she gets lied flat on this wedge that's like a piece of brie, that sort of shape. So like a wedge of cheese. She's lying on that with her chest. So her back's on that, so her chest is at an angle. Yeah. And they go and try and take the first X-ray, but her chin's coming down too much because of the angle of where it is. Yeah. So they come back in and push it further down, and then put a flat bit behind it so that her head can rest on that bit. Yeah. So her neck's back a bit further and her chin's not in the X-ray. So off they go again to take the X-ray. And then there was a shadow on the X-ray, and they were like, what the hell's that? They realised it was my cap. So I turned that around, and we went again. Yeah. And I mean, she was quite distressed at a few points, but it was just a case of doing your best to distract her whilst keeping her still. Yeah. Because when they have a chest X-ray, you have to hold their hands up at the side of their head so that it's almost like putting your hands by your ears. Yeah. And keep their elbows tucked in. So it wasn't a very pleasant position. No. And then I was in there, and you have to, because I was the one that was holding her, I had to wear this like really heavy jacket thing that velcros onto you. God. So that none of your, I suppose you're not on the X-ray, as it were. Yeah. I think it's a bit of protection from, because there's a certain amount of radiation with an X-ray as well, isn't there? Yeah, that's why. So I think it's probably a bit of protection from that.
Yeah, so that's why the radiographer, is it? They go behind a bomb-proof bloody door, Nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
Like thumbs up.
Yeah, I mean, our little girl's not grown an extra limb yet.
Oh, good.
I mean, she might do by the time we finish recording.
Yeah.
I'll have a check and let you know.
So if it's a hand, it's good for clapping.
Yeah. Or develop some sort of superpower. That'd be nice.
Yeah, well,
wouldn't
I can imagine it'd be quite difficult trying to get like buying new shoes. Do you have a third one? Just a display one, yeah.
yeah, can we have one that's not like a left or right? It's just a middle foot.
Just go straight forward. Like, so when would you be expected to get the results back for that? Because does it take a while, or do they speed it up?
I'm not sure how quick they come back. Actually, she had a chest X-ray a while back because she had a chest infection. So that was going back quite a while, but I think we had the results back quite quickly.
Right.
The way it normally works, the consultant said, is if there's a problem, he will phone us.
Right, yeah.
Or if there's anything to discuss, he will phone us.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he'll write to us with the results in it.
Yeah.
But the results will go back to the GP pretty quickish anyway. So as soon as they've been analysed, I'm guessing it will take probably 10 days to 2 weeks.
You should take him Max Spielman. Was that the same day? 24 hour. You take your holiday pics.
Yeah.
This is my chest X-ray. This is one I was at Magaluf. So yeah, 24 hour.
Yeah. I'm sure they could analyse it. Those people that develop photos, I'm sure they'd know what the different bits.
Yeah,
were.
there's your cap again, Dean. Yeah, you need I don't know what they call, like a beanie or something. Because that's your thing, isn't it? I think that's it. You know, if somebody asks like, "What's Dean like?" I've never seen him without a hat on.
I do wear a hat a lot.
Yeah. In fact, although you're not wearing one now.
I don't wear a cap to bed.
No,
because I'm not wearing one.
Yeah.
No, I don't wear a cap to bed because otherwise, like the peak digs into your pillow sometimes. It lifts your head up. You get a right crick in your neck.
Bloody Bert and Ernie.
Yeah.
So hopefully, mate, that comes back and gets us sorted. Because I think, although I think it's a pretty common thing, isn't it? The reflux. It doesn't make it any less of a nicer experience. I don't think Eden had it, but she was just like, she constantly just threw up all the time, like, and just like, oh, she's been sick again. So yeah, fingers crossed, mate.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things that can be like things that make them throw up, and reflux is one of them. But since she's been on the medication, it's been a bit better.
Yeah.
But it's never really fully disappeared or fully got better, and I think that's what they're aiming for. They have said that when she starts eating, like when she's completely weaned and she's on less milk and more food, then that should make a bit more of a difference. So he has asked us to try and give her a bit less milk so that she eats a bit more solid food. Yeah. So we're going to be trying that over the next few weeks as well. So.
Well, it's a Sunday roast, isn't it, tomorrow?
Both been in hospital this week. Yeah, Sunday roast.
Get us started on a Sunday roast. That'd be pretty good, that one. What was your first solid meal, like Sunday roast? I don't think we're having one tomorrow. We're going to have cottage pie. Something to look forward to.
Oh, I've not even thought about tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, so we're going to talk about entertainment this week, then, aren't we?
I was going to say, where are you at with just remind us of your nap routine in the day. Are you, not you, is your daughter still napping? Or do you manage to get one as well?
I'd love a nap. I'd love a nap in the day, mate. That'd be amazing. She does nap in the day, yeah. It can be once, it can be twice. There isn't really a routine for it, and we don't sort of say, right, we're going to put her down so she can have a nap now because it's that time. Yeah. We don't have a routine with it as such. If she's tired, we'll just let her sleep for a little bit. And if it seems like she's sleeping a bit much and we're thinking she won't sleep in the evening, then we'll wake her up. And that's kind of how we go with it. She'll normally have maybe a couple of naps in the day.
Yeah.
If she's at nursery on that day, then she'll probably sleep a little bit more. So it's normally quite common that she'd have a third nap if she's been at nursery. So she'd probably have 2 short ones while she was there and then one when she got home.
That's the dream, innit?
Well, I think it's the car ride.
Yeah.
So the car ride home from nursery, even though it's only, 6 or 7 minutes.
Yeah.
By the time I get back from nursery, she's normally like Sparko.
Yeah.
So then, bring her inside and I can sort out a nursery bag before she wakes up normally, which is quite good.
I think that kind of also leads on to like the entertainment side of things, because we're not having that nap, and she likes to be preoccupied, so we do have to kind of use the phone between. I'd say it's exactly the same as you, about sort of 5, 6, 7 minutes. But there needs to be something on in the van when I pick her up, so she can sort of kind of watch that, and you're not going to get much like out of her in regards to sort of asking how her day's been and stuff like that. But yeah, so we'll stick something on there. But
Yeah.
I definitely remember the sort of transition. So if you're waking up at sort of 6 o'clock in the morning, you can think, right, we'll go a good 4 hours of looking after her, and then she'll have a nap, and then she'll maybe sleep for a couple hours, and then be awake again. But yeah, we're full day through. It's
rare that our little girl will sleep for that long.
Right.
So normally we'll get like half an hour to an hour out of her, maybe of a nap in the day. So like her 2 short naps will be between sort of half an hour to an hour.
Yeah.
It's rare that she'd sleep for a couple, but recently there has been a few days where she's only had 1 nap and it's been longer.
Right.
So I think she's naturally transitioning
out of it.
Yeah. Which will happen over time, won't it?
Yeah.
And to be fair, like I'd prefer her to have a good long sleep through the night.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And miss the nap. That's like the dream situation, isn't it, for anybody?
You definitely notice. So if you like today, we're both pretty knackered, like my wife and I, and we just thought, well, we can't really fall asleep because if Eden gets into bed with us and she falls asleep at this time, you're in the danger zone. So we have to kind of get up, and I think that's where these kind of different things, different toys around the house, different ways to entertain her are going to come through, and they definitely kind of change as you go through. I think first and foremost the advice I'd give, I don't know if you agree or not, but like we've got kind of cupboards just in the living room sort of thing, and like there's loads of toys in there that she won't use. So I think it is. I know obviously you're going to get some for birthdays and Christmas and things like that, but I don't think you really need that one because you end up just playing with the same sort of 3 or 4 anyway, on almost like a rotational basis. So as long as she's got the key things, basically she loves a puzzle, she loves like letters and numbers and things like that. And we'll talk through that in a minute. She loves a wooden train set. And she likes she has a football and a ball that she throws about as well. So essentially she'll rotate through those. We have got like the Amazon tablet thing, and also like watching stuff on the telly. So there's loads for us to discuss. But we've always had those sort of like play toys and things like that. And we're always like making sure that we don't have too much sort of screen time and things like that, because I know that's kind of considered lazy parenting. But we just need to, because there's so many apps now available. It isn't just a case of plonking them in front of the telly and she's watching stuff. There's actually like, as I said, we'll go through it in a minute, like the different apps that you can play around with and things like that. So, what sort of things do you do to kind of keep your daughter entertained? Because obviously now she loves looking at things, and obviously she's developing all the time. So, what kind of things do you do, especially at the weekends when you've got that more of the onus on? You need to keep them preoccupied.
I mean, for us, there's been a transition going right the way through. So we've gone from like really basic, simple stuff that is just shown to the baby when it's first born, and it's more like a visual stimulation than it is like something to play with, to getting into toys and her wanting to pick things up and like find out. I don't know. I think she's like quite inquisitive and likes to find out like what she can do with something. So if she's given something, what does it do, or can it do anything? Yeah. What does it look like if I turn it round? Can I throw it? What happens? Those sorts of things. But we've got quite a lot of different toys, and what she'll do is she'll just have a look at whatever's there, and she'll play with whatever is there. So there's quite a few different things that she enjoys playing with, and I don't think there's anything that she's kind of just gone, no, I'm not bothered with that. So it's been quite interesting, because I suppose a lot of the things that are bought like new, like we had quite a few toys and things at Christmas. We had at Christmas some that were more like toys that move and things like that. Yeah. So you get a lot of toys that have buttons on, you press them and they roll around and things like that. Yeah. So that was quite new for her, but actually she's really enjoyed those, and it's a new thing. But I think she just likes variety at the moment. Right. So having a big variety is kind of the thing that keeps her entertained. Yeah. So I mean, I agree with the screen time side of things. I think a little bit of screen time is good.
Yeah.
I think too much screen time is obviously a bad thing.
Yeah.
But also screen time can help a little bit if, like our little girl, if she's starting to feel a little bit tired and you're thinking, right, I've got to get this done, this done and this done,
Yeah.
a little bit of screen time might help her to nod off a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
So things like that, it can be used for that as well, and just to give you a little bit of time to get other stuff done.
I think that's the big part of it, is especially like when you're getting towards the end of the day sort of thing, where you do have to you do want to still keep the house tidy, although you can put some stuff off. You still want to be able to do that, and by having something that you can kind of relax in front of, that really, really helps. So what sort of thing are you using for that? There may be some things that obviously you say now that people will recognise. So what kind of thing are you putting on for your,
like screen time things?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can search for baby sensory stuff on YouTube and it will bring up loads of different things.
Yeah.
There's the Hey Bear stuff, which, I mean, most people know it for Dancing Fruits, don't
Yeah.
they? So Dancing Fruits is really popular and it's got millions of views.
Yeah.
If you've not looked on there, have a look at it. But I'd look at the channel rather than going straight for the Dancing Fruits stuff. So when you click on the videos bit, you can obviously see all the different videos that they do, and there are a lot of the different Dancing Fruit ones. They do ones for different times of year and things like that.
Yeah.
But there's also some really good nighttime ones with like the moon and stars on it. One of the ones that our daughter really likes is got hearts on the screen, and they kind of bounce and they follow each other, bouncing around.
Yeah, I know it.
And they're like rainbow coloured. That keeps her really entertained. What I would say as well is the music's actually quite good on there.
Yeah.
So like as an adult, it's not music that's going to absolutely do your head in.
Well,
unless you listen to the same one on repeat over and over again.
Give it time. It'll come.
Yeah. But I mean, apart from that one, there's also one that we put on quite regularly called, what's it called? Is it Hey Star or something? Hey Baby Star.
Right.
And that's got like rockets and planets that move across the screen.
Oh, nice.
And she quite likes that one as well. And then one that I've found over the last week or so is a channel called Baby Fruit Dancing Sensory Videos, which has got some really good music on it again. And the music that's on it is kind of like acoustic music, so it's quite nice if they're trying to get them to sleep as well.
Right.
Because it's quite relaxing music. Some of them have quite energetic and stimulating music on, so you got to be careful what you choose for different times of the day.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, that's where she's at now, and the Dancing Fruits has been a favourite with her since we started exposing her to stuff on like screen time type stuff on YouTube.
Yeah.
So that's always been a popular one. I mean, what about you? Because obviously your little girl's a bit older.
Yeah.
So she's going to have different things that she's interested in.
So she went through the Hey Bear. I think it was our mate Paul who talked to us about that, I think, with the Dancing Fruit. I'm sure it was Paul who was saying, yeah, get this on. Get this on like it's great. Yeah. Sorry, Paul. So we've gone through that sort of stage. She went through that, and then she transitioned into the Sesame Street and had a period of really like loving Elmo. And the sing-along and stuff like that. But YouTube's an absolute minefield. You can, because obviously when the video finishes, it'll go on to something that's very similar. And if you leave it long enough, there's all sorts. So we were watching one the other day that is just somebody in a car, like the camera's at the wheel, and they're driving over like toys, or like the hydraulic kind of press thing that people watch, and it's basically that, but it's got like toothpaste and like water balloons and stuff like that. And she loved it. And like, I don't know how many, I've got a car, I could do that. Why can't, so there's bits like that. But she likes the ones that you can dance to. And I think, I'm going to presume he's an American sports, maybe PE teacher. And he's got like a whole channel of these things where you dance along, and then maybe you have to stop and have to change your body shape to maybe a letter T and K and things like that. Or you have to pretend to be a certain animal. And you just kind of go like that, but obviously she wants us to get involved with it, so I'm bloody knackered by the end of the day. But my L's coming on quite a long way. So, she watches all those sorts of things, so she gets into kind of Being able to watch those sort of videos. And we were watching, it was just one that was like a relaxation one. It had a load of different safari animals in it as well. So that was pretty cool. But yeah,
Sounds
it's loads of stuff that's on YouTube. It's an absolute goldmine.
I mean, one that I'd recommend from working with younger kids as well is Cosmic Kids Yoga.
Right.
I mean, your little girl might like that now, actually, and it's basically this lady who does yoga, but it's based around a story. So it goes through and it tells a story, and part of the story, the whole way through the story, she's doing different poses and helping the children get into those different poses.
I might have seen it. It's ringing bells. My downward dog was needs some work.
I mean, it's something that I've used a lot in a classroom, and it does work really well. But it's one of the things that I think my little girl might quite like when she's getting to the point of wanting to listen to stories being told and doing something active along with it. Yeah. So it gives you something to do, and there's hundreds of videos on there with loads of different stories, all on different topics, and with different morals to them and things like that as well. So it's actually really good. Yeah,
I was just saying that there's one that we kind of happened upon where she sort of sings the like the Gruffalo and all those kind of. I can't remember the name of the author who does Gruffalo, but it's that series of books. So she'll sing them.
Julia Donaldson.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so she'll sing through those. Yeah. So yeah, but like now she's obviously old enough. She'll choose like a Netflix or BBC iPlayer and stuff like that. So like with the screen time with the Gruffalo as well, we've got on a tablet. She will have like little apps and the games that like go along with the Gruffalo. So she might have to kind of when you have to try and pair up like images and they're on little discs, so you press it and you spin around, you have to find the one that corresponds with it. So stuff like that, or you have to drag a little snake through. So it's really good for like hand-eye coordination. But she's really competitive, so she hates it when she doesn't win. So that one you have to be careful with. But obviously now she's moving on to sort of the more grown-up ones. So there's things that we can start with. So she's gone through the whole Mr. Tumble stage, and I love Mr. Tumble. I thought he was amazing. He was so cool. Yeah, you'll notice that obviously she might have wandered off for a good 30-40 minutes. She might be doing something in the kitchen. I'm sat there watching Mr. Tumble. And, the bacon again. Oh, he's got it all over him. Look, she's gone. I've literally just been sat here on me. But now she's literally like within the last sort of week, she started watching Paw Patrol, which is mint. But I want to see the episode where it explains why the dogs are talking. So how did the dogs talk and who funds them? Obviously, this Paw Patrol isn't aimed at adults because that's how I think. It's like, right, where's this funding come from? Adventure Bay must pay the biggest amount of council tax to pay for all these like dogs going around.
I mean, it's a pretty big building, isn't it?
Yeah, it's you. Yeah. And they've got all this technology, and you're watching it. So we're watching one where there's obviously all the dogs, and they do one has like a digger, one's a firefighter, one's like a police dog sort of thing, and then there's other ones where they have these extra kind of uniforms that they wear that they're going to do like underwater stuff, and you're just thinking, well, that's so they can sell more toys, isn't it? So yeah, I'm just being cynical, I suppose. So there's this Paw Patrol she's watching. Still watches the old sort of Peppa Pig, that sort of thing. But she won't get in. She's not getting into Bluey yet, which is like the creme de la creme into Bluey, because not only is it entertaining, you learn stuff as well. It's quite like, I've seen the odd one. It's quite like, oh God, that's quite sad actually. So yeah, but
they've got quite a few with good morals in as well, haven't they? The episodes of Bluey.
Yeah, I think aren't they done by the Australian government? There's always that Australian government symbol at the end. I don't know if that's it's a thing that they've done, but yeah, they're really good. Like sure. It's a bit more kind of a bit more sort of content and that kind of empathy you have to kind of have for all the characters and what's going on actually in the story. So hopefully one day she'll get onto that. She hasn't really gone into Hey Dougie. So again, that's another one that you've liked, and what we have seen, it's always a bit of a laugh. But it's definitely ones.
Some good music in there as well.
Yeah, definitely ones to avoid. I can't think of his name now. I think it's Bing the Bunny. He's a little mad arse. And then is it Blippy? I cannot stand Blippy. He's just some bloke in a sort of suspenders and no, not suspenders. What they call them. Yeah, hold your trousers up.
That's definitely not children's TV. I don't know what she's watching. Something else you're thinking of.
Cool. They are suspenders. The things that goes over your shoulders and your braces. That's it. So he wears one.
Yeah, if you're watching something with suspenders in it, it's not children's TV.
Well, apparently the original Blippy was done for doing something a bit like controversial, wasn't he, on the internet? That's why he was swapped. But so yeah, he's a bit annoying. But there's Mika that's like his partner that's on it. She's quite good, and she goes trampolining. So yeah, she's on those ones where you as an adult can kind of sit down and watch it, because at the end of the day she rules the roost, and we do try and share it, especially if I'm trying to watch the football today. Yeah, she'll rule the roost in the morning, so it's good now you can kind of sit down and watch it as opposed to just like fruit going all over the show, which is good. But once you've seen one Pepper dance and you've seen them all, so yeah, that's what where we're at the moment. I'd really like for her to get into Harry Potter, but that's she's not staying still for 2 hours, isn't? Got no chance.
No, that's a little bit down the line. Yeah, I mean, have you done the iPlayer pantomimes that have been put on there?
No.
By the cast of like CBeebies.
No, I've not seen that.
This is a good one actually. You might enjoy this. So on the CBeebies website, you can go onto a section called shows,
right? And
on there it'll have every show that they're currently running,
right?
And then you click on the show and it'll give you games that you can do from that show, or like there'll be puzzles, there'll be art activities and things like that.
Yeah.
But there'll be a little button as well that says episodes, and you click on that and it brings up all the episodes that they've currently got listed on iPlayer.
Yeah.
And it'll show you each season and each episode. And in there you've got all sorts of different stuff. So like you've got all of Hey Dougie, there's just stacks of stuff in there.
Yeah.
There's like Let's Celebrate, there's On the Farm, there's all sorts, there's loads of things. So you can have a look on there, and on there one of the sections is the live section, and the live section is all the pantomimes or plays that they've ever done.
Right.
And in those pantomimes and plays, they basically get anybody that has done programmes for CBeebies come together as one big cast.
Oh, wow.
And there's loads they're really good as well. They've chosen really wisely what they've done. They've also got a few on there that are ones that aren't spoken ones, so they've got some ballet ones on there as well, so there's a bit of variety on there.
Oh, very cultured.
I mean, it's not Mr. Tumble doing ballet, but it's they've actually got ballerinas doing it.
Yeah,
but
that'll be Aunt Polly. It won't be Mr. Tumble doing the ballet, it'll be Aunt Polly.
But yeah, they've got loads on there, and it's worth having a look, because you know that if you're on the CBeebies website, nothing's going to pop up that's obviously not what you want them to see. No. Whereas on YouTube, there's the potential for that happening.
And the adverts as well.
Unless obviously you're on kids' YouTube.
Yeah, the adverts on YouTube as well. We've always been tempted to pay is it like £7 for the YouTube premium thing? But yeah, the adverts. But now she's like, she knows how to use the controller. So before she'd just be like, adverts! But now she can be like she waits until it kind of says skip, and then presses the button on the remote control. Yeah, she's dead advanced. I think the obviously the way that technology comes in, because I'm sure you use tablets in school, and we can obviously will do as well. She already knows how to kind of navigate through it, or to find the app that she wants and stuff like that, and being able to use the TV remote control. It's definitely going to help, because obviously they're going to be using these skills and this technology when she goes to sort of primary in 18 months sort of time. So yeah, definitely those benefits.
I mean, one of the things we've noticed is our little girl, if we've got a phone in her hand and we've got her sat on her knee or something, and somebody sent a message and you've just opened it up, she'll go for your phone. But it's because of the light and the colour. Yeah. It's not necessarily because she's trying to respond to that person because she's read it.
It's not for you.
But yeah, not for you. But I mean, one of the other things she really likes is my watch as well, because I've got a Apple Watch.
Yeah.
And she'll go for that, and she'll press the button, she'll play with the scroll wheel, she'll touch the screen and stuff. Yeah. I mean, she's not changed the language on it yet, but it's going to happen soon, isn't it? It'll be one of them things that happens. I mean, so you've mentioned about the toys that you're using. Like, are there any games that you play with your little girl that keep her entertained?
So we've got there's a few board games. So we've got the it's like the little fishing rod game where you got the fish that spin around like and the mouths open and close. So
they're magnetic.
No,
that's a really good game.
It has like a hook on it, and what you're supposed to time it so when the fish shuts its mouth, you shuts its mouth. You pull it out. So that's pretty cool. But other than that, as I said, it's always the puzzles things. So she's always been like obsessed with like the letters and the alphabet and numbers and things like that. So we've got like a wooden, it's like a little wooden block, and then you've got all the obviously the letters of the alphabet that fit in. So that was before you she was just able to kind of take them out and then put them back in the right place. But now we're able to kind of take them off and then hide them around the kind of living room, and she's got to try and find them going through and stuff like that. But then obviously she gets bored, and then I've got to tidy up, and I've completely forgot where I've put stuff, so I can't find the letter R. And that's going to spell disaster for the next time we play it, although you can't because...
It won't spell disaster, mate, if you can't.
Yeah, we've lost the letter R. So I'm going around like this, like, where the bloody hell have I put that? And I try and do it so it's not just like it's on the table, it's dead easy. It's like we've got like a little light over here that kind of points upwards. So I put one in there. And then obviously, again, my undiagnosed adult ADHD, which is like, I can't find the letter I. I was like, where the fucking hell's that gone? And it's like, oh, it's in the thing. Oh, it's hot. So she likes kind of she likes kind of doing those sorts of things. Loves a puzzle. Like she's always been going, and they're getting bigger and bigger. There's like the giant floor puzzle that she has on the floor. So bits like that. Not really kind of the board games. She's not quite there with the what they call it, Operation. O plus at Cluedo. She forgets to put the 3 cards in the middle. We were there for hours. So
how's the Scrabble skills?
Not quite as good. So not quite there just yet. But she's getting bloody competitive. So.
I mean, saying that though, like you're doing the right thing with the hiding the stuff around the room thing, because like any sort of educational game that you're trying to do with young children, if any educational thing you're trying to do, if you can make it into a game in some way, shape or form, it makes it so that it's more entertaining for them, and it's more what we call discrete learning. Yeah. So they're learning without realising that they're doing it. Right. So anything like that, like in the summer, if you can get outside and you've got like a washing line, and you're trying to teach her like the order of the numbers, trying to get them in the right order. Yeah. If you hang like put them on paper and hang them on the washing line, but in the wrong order, and then give her like something to squirt them with, and then she can go along and squirt them in the right order.
Oh, nice, yeah. Well, as I say, because Rachel's in the same industry as yourself, things. She's the same kind of a little bit older, but she's really good at coming up with those ideas. So she'll do so. So she knows the numbers up to 40 maybe. She knows all the letters of the alphabet, and she knows like...
Is this Rach?
Yeah. She's ever so bright. She's come on so well. I've got to write a report for her mum. And she's got to the point like she'll know all the letters. She'll know like M for mummy and D for daddy and things like that. And she can do the phonetics for them. And now she wants to try and obviously write the names. So literally every Sunday we'll do the same routine whereby I will dot out the letter, and then she gets like a pen or some paint and she'll draw around it. So it's always the same.
That's good. So tracing activities.
Yeah, so it'll always be her name first, and then mummy, daddy, Alfie, nana, granddad, Constantinople. So get a bit more advanced. Yeah. But then I always get a bit overly confident with the first letter, and I'm trying to squeeze in the last one. We're trying to do those kind of things. We want to try and have a little bit of fun, but we want to try to learn as well. So she is prepped for when she goes to sort of that primary school and things like that. So there was a little bit of those. She loves to paint anyway, so just combining those two things to try and learn.
We've started doing a little bit of painting with our little girl. Yeah, and that's interesting with a child that young. Yeah. So my partner's done a little bit with her. She's done a little bit of nursery, but then was it yesterday or the day before? I got involved with the first bit of painting, and it was interesting.
Just everywhere. Is it?
Yeah, we got like the stampers and the rollers and things like that. So we got her in a high chair with a vest on, like a art vest thing on that came. We ordered some like basic art stuff as a little pack. Yeah. Which came with like a few paints, a few like roller things, a few sponge like
I know it. Yeah,
call them like printer things, and a few brushes. And she had a go. But to be honest, in the end, we just like let's let her
just get on with it. Just get. I was going to say, does she just kind of get
and have a go with your hands?
Yeah,
feel the textures and like just have a mess around with it basically. Yeah. And enjoy yourself essentially.
Yeah. It's just bloody tidying up after it. What you'll start coming up now, Dean, is that she'll obviously when she goes to nursery and things like that, but obviously when she's doing it at home, she'll have like these pieces of art that she's done, and some of them you're gonna have to throw away because otherwise you're just gonna have a house full of paper. So it's like
I've seen these really good frames.
Yeah. What?
Go on, carry on. I'll tell you in a minute.
Yeah. What's your what they call it? What's your your sifting out process to the ones that they can stay and the ones that can you just chuck in the bin straight away. So we've got, like, as I say, we're doing all the same words every week. We've got a bloody cupboard full of them, and I don't have the art to chuck them in the bin because I just imagine she'll go stick something in the bin, like some rubbish or something, and then, what's this in here? Gosh, go on.
Yeah. You're there sneaking out on the morning that the recycling bin comes round to drop it into the back of the actual lorry.
Well, they literally go past our front door, so we can just chuck it in. Obviously without it.
Paper aeroplanes from the bedroom window.
Yeah. Oh, I want that one back. That was a good one.
Yeah. Oh, that was. Yeah. Oh no, that's the marriage certificate.
Yeah, Rachel's like, right, leave
Yeah.
it.
I have seen some really good frames actually, where it's a frame and it's like a deep frame, and the front of it opens a bit like a door.
Yeah.
And then at the back of the frame, there's just a piece of an elastic that goes across at the top and the bottom of the frame.
Right.
So what you do is you put one in the glass bit at the front of the frame.
Yeah.
And then the one that doesn't need to be displayed anymore just gets pushed behind the elastic at the back, and you close the door again.
Oh, okay. I like that one.
Yeah.
Well, we don't display
so you
anything.
Can fit,
yeah, we haven't got, like, we've paid for bloody artwork that we got from the internet. I'm not having air crap, like, on the walls. A load of rubbish. Mind you, like...
I mean, I've seen that picture that you've sent me. That picture you've sent me of the artwork that she's drawn directly onto the wall.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that was a bit of a Banksy moment,
why cut out the middleman? Like, just get her straight on the wall. Oh, yeah, those washable
pens. Did she do
pens.
the plug socket? Was it not the plug? The light switch as well?
Switch, yeah. It's around the light switch. So, yeah, she's gone down and got the bloody steps so she can get higher. So she hasn't done it since, but... Yeah, that's going to be a pain to clean if we want to sell the house.
I think some parents will be reluctant to give their kids, like, writing implements and mark making implements because they're worried about what's going to happen to their house by doing it, which I can understand to a certain extent, but you've just got to make sure that they know that if they're using them, this is where they're using them, or this is how they're using them, and that there's rules with it, because otherwise you will end up with an absolutely trashed house, won't you?
Well, we've got a couple of stains on the floor.
As long as they know how to use things properly, then that's going to be absolutely fine. I mean, the messy side of things with paint and stuff like that is obviously going to be more of a challenge because you've got more to clean up. There's no way of avoiding that.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. When you're getting older and there's more toys that she can get, she'll go from one, and she's quite good at tidying up a little bit, but it's just an absolute bomb site. So by having those stuff that you can have like a little bit of tablet time or whatever, you can go back and bring a bit of order back to the house, because if it's a mess, then it's just you're running out of space and things like that. So yeah, the artwork and stuff like that is a pain to tidy up. It's generally pretty easy to get off tables and things like that.
Yeah.
Unless she's used a bloody knife.
I think it's just about teaching them, isn't it?
Yeah.
Teaching them to tidy up after themselves, or help to tidy up after themselves.
Yeah.
So, like, giving them a bit of a reward for, or just loads of praise for tidying up, so that they know that actually what they've done is really good, and that's something that they want to carry on doing. Then
she'll put she's got like a set of pens, like colouring pens, and she'll put them back. Even like if we try to tidy up, actually, she kind of kicks off, and she likes putting them in the right order. She knows exactly how many. Maybe she might be on the spectrum somewhere, but she loves making sure the colours are in the right order. She knows exactly how many different shades of reds there are, blues, greens, and things like that. So, and she always puts them back together, and that's almost the kind of the last thing in the day. Then it's that kind of finish. We do a little bit of drawing, like everything's rainbow, so we'll do all the rainbows. We'll put all her pens back into the little kind of, it's like a little fold away thing that clips at the side, and then we'll read the books. It's almost like the last thing we'll do of the day, so it's a nice little routine for her as well. And then we give her the Uber.
It's really good though. I mean, to be fair, like the fact that she's putting them all back in the right order and she knows how many of each different colour she's got, she's just showing you what she knows, isn't she?
Yeah.
She's going, I can remember this is something I'm good at, and I like doing it, and I like to show that I'm good at it.
Yeah.
So it's like her way of going, look at this.
Yeah, she will do. She'll
doing a good job.
Even though I've helped to colour this little bit in, she'll do like the last bit, and then she'll tell me to close my eyes and show it. And I'll be like, yeah, terrible. No, like yeah, she's dead buzzing. She loves kind of doing that and showing us, and dead excited by her creation. So yeah, she's quite creative. I haven't got an artistic bone in my body. I'm terrible at it. I'm just so bad. I don't even know what looks good. So yeah, I'm a bit of a Philistine when it comes to that.
I'm not great with art. I mean, what I will say though is, like, if you are looking at getting toys and things like that, You can go out and buy them from the shops, which is great, but Marketplace is also really good. You can pick up some great bargains on there because, I mean, we picked up, like the little ball pit things.
Yes.
It's essentially a little bit smaller than a paddling pool, but with taller sides. And then you get the balls to put in it.
Yeah.
I think we paid, it was less than a tenner.
Yeah.
To get one of them second hand, and they were like 40-50 quid new, and it hadn't already been used.
Yeah.
We sterilised the balls in Milton, and then like the actual bit around the edges it looked brand new when we got it. And she loves going in there and just chucking stuff about. It keeps her entertained for ages.
And I suppose people are happy to get rid of them as well because they do take up quite a bit of space if you're not using it. The lady I spoke about earlier on, whose daughter's 2 this week, she got a massive old ball pit. It was amazing when we went. I was like, "Can I go in?" But yeah, they do take up a lot of space. Like, so yeah, definitely. If you were looking for something, there's always going to be someone on, like you say, your Marketplace or whatever, that's going to be looking to shift it. And you'll have hand me downs. Just get stuff off my sister, like I did as a kid.
Yeah.
I'm sick of her dolls, or like friends of like other family members that would sort of say, "Look, do you want this?" sort of thing. We've got another sort of sensory book for the new one off again. The same lady actually. So yes, we've got it's definitely not turning your nose up at that sort of thing because they do cost a fortune. They're hardly ever going to get used that much really, especially like at your daughter's age where she's like progressing so quickly. She'll move on quite quickly, and you don't want to have those kind of toys knocking about. So definitely don't turn down like the free stuff because they are costly and it's not necessarily worth getting it brand new.
Yeah, I mean we've picked up a lot off Marketplace, and like some of the stuff that you pick up is just really decent. Like people sell like bags or boxes of baby toys for like 5-10 quid.
Yeah.
And in that bag or box you'll be getting 10 different things maybe.
Yeah.
Some of them might be a bit rubbish and a bit of a mess, but you just chuck them ones away and you go for you keep the ones that are really decent.
Yeah.
I mean we've even picked up, the big foamy mats that you can get that fold out.
Yes.
I think I might have mentioned this in a previous pod actually, but we got one of them for like a £5 off there. And to buy them new, you're looking at about 30-40 quid.
Right, oh God.
So it's and all we needed to do with it was give it a quick wipe down. It looked brand new. It had hardly been used.
Yeah.
I mean, again, it's one of those things that you need a bit of space to put down, but it's a really useful thing to have, especially when they're at the point of they're sitting up, but they're not 100% stable. Because you want something down behind them and something on the floor so that if they do fall, obviously they're not going to be smacking their head on the floor, which not what you want.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think Marketplace is a really good place to look for stuff. Obviously at like Christmas and birthdays and things like that, people buy you new things, and every now and then you will buy something new. But I mean, the other thing that I will say as well, with babies, think about the things that are more of a sensory stimulation.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you touched briefly on like a sensory book then.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got fairy lights that change colour, just the sort of ones that you put on your Christmas tree.
Yeah.
But like they were £7, and if we put them on in the room, that's a sensory experience, and she really likes that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't something expensive. And sensory things that are not just visual as well, like sound-based stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, everybody has baby rattles, don't they, and things like that. And she loves stuff like that. And my partner took her to a baby yoga group. When would it have been? It was a while ago now, but she went to a baby yoga group for a while. And part of that group, they got this little bag, and in the bag was the things that they would use each week at baby yoga.
Right.
And she's still using those now.
Oh, nice.
So, like, she loves the rattles that she got are a favourite rattle sort of thing.
Yeah.
So we keep one downstairs and one upstairs. Then there were like these sensory, like voily type cloths as well that she quite likes because you can put them, like pull them over her head and things like that. And she likes the feel of it.
Yeah.
There was like a rubber ball in there that's a bit spiky, so it's got like a bit of a feel to it. It's like soft rubber.
Yeah.
But like when you bounce it hard, it's got a light inside that changes colour.
Yeah, I know it.
Yeah, and she absolutely loves that. So there was quite a lot of things like, and they're only things that if you look on somewhere like Amazon, they'd be dead cheap anyway. But like those are the sorts of things that she gets quite a lot out of.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's looking for those opportunities for different types of toys, I suppose, so that there's a variety. I mean, I know some people will have like, as their kids get older, they'll have like cupboards, like you were saying. We've got similar cupboards in our living room area, and that in those cupboards they might have a basket, and in that basket, that's if we're having that basket out, that's the basket
That'll
we're
come
having out.
Yeah.
And that one then will go back. And then on a different day, they'll get a different basket out, those sorts of ideas, which are great great ideas. And some people do it that way. Some people just have full access to everything, which
like open the
is also fine, isn't it? It's just it's that thing of, I suppose you don't want them to be overstimulated by too much choice.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they need to have a bit of choice so that they can make their own decisions.
She always gets the ones out that takes bloody ages to put together. And you need all these bloody batteries to get it working.
Oh, yeah.
Like, especially if it's like 5:30 on a Sunday morning. Yeah. It's like, oh, right, what do you want to play now? Is this a one-player game, is it? Okay, I'm coming. I've just got a little croquet set or something. It takes me...
I mean, one of the things we chatted briefly about before we started recording tonight was batteries, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I mentioned that when our little girl was born, we were asked by a few people what we would like. And one of the things we said, could we get like a battery charger and some rechargeable batteries?
Yeah.
And that's been really useful.
Yeah.
Like we had a swing seat. She doesn't have it anymore. But we had a swing seat to start off with.
I know it. Yeah.
And she loved going in that, and it was just like a battery powered one that had a little magnet that kept it going.
Yeah.
But it would go through batteries like no tomorrow.
Yeah.
So like having rechargeable ones for that was really helpful, because they weren't just like AA batteries, they were the D cell batteries, so they were the big ones. Yeah. So like buying new ones of them was just going to cost us a fortune. I think we made our money back just by being able to recharge for that one toy.
It sounds so simple though, doesn't it? But it's like an absolute game changer, because obviously it's the worst thing when you want to get a toy out and the battery's died on it. Yeah. We do have some batteries knocking about, but it's always the case, isn't it? You don't have them in. And there's not many that are USB. So we've got the remote control car that we've mentioned. That's you can take the batteries out of that, and then it's got a little USB cable and you can charge it up. But there's not many that we've got that are USB. You'd have thought that they'd move over it, but yeah, maybe in the future.
In fact, talking about USB charging stuff, one of the things we've got that's not a child's toy is actually for the cat. It's a laser pen.
Yeah.
And it's a USB charge one, and we don't use it loads with the cat, but when the cat wants to have a bit of a run inside and it's where there's rubbish outside, like we'll get the laser pen out.
Up the wall,
and, up the wall, and our little girl will follow that dot everywhere.
Yeah.
She'll be watching where it's gone. She'll be looking where it's going to. So yeah, cat toys might work as well. I mean, I don't recommend the ones that have got like catnip in, but like, yeah,
she won't sleep.
A laser pen might be quite good.
When you said she follows the pen around, I presume it's just with her eyes or whatever, or with her head. It's like, you don't fling it like that. She's like, bloody hell, she's on the data rail. Get her down.
Yeah, the cat and the little girl are sat next to each other, and they're just with their head following wherever the red dot goes.
It's like they're watching tennis, like.
Yeah, it is pretty much like that. Yeah. So one thing I wanted to mention actually as well before we move on or wrap up, bath toys.
Yes.
We've not mentioned bath toys.
No, that's true.
Yet. Yeah. Has your little girl got some bath toys that she's like really fond of?
Yeah. So we've got these like I can't think who's bought them. They're like these. They're like crayons, and you can draw in everything like on the side of the bath and on tiles and that. Again, trying to get her to like there's like little stencils that you can do, trying to kind of get her to learn a name. They're pretty cool, but they are a bloody pain to get off once they've been on for a bit. I think you have to instantly wash them off, or else you're going around with like the bloody what they call it, some kind of like cleaner. Right. So they're pretty good. She's got one that's got like a little turtle that you wind up and its arms go like that, and it just.
Oh, we got one of them.
But then there's the little whale thing that God knows how it works. Like you put.
I think we've got the same thing.
Yeah, basically you put it on the water, then it sucks up and blows out the water out the top of its head, and then changes colour.
Yeah, we've got that.
Yeah,
one.
So it's all the same sort of kind of stuff, isn't it? Really, where she doesn't mind being in a bath. She doesn't always use them, to be fair. She likes just being in the bubbles and flicking frigging water everywhere. Honestly. I'd never buy a bathroom with carpet in it because she just like bloody turns into a Little Mermaid and starts flicking water everywhere. So she doesn't use them all the time, but she does have those kind of basic toys. But that little whale's well cool. I have them in the shower with me sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. Does it work in the shower?
It does, yeah. But I always have to have the tap end.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing that our little girl's got, she's got very similar stuff to what you've described as well. She loves a rubber duck.
Right.
I mean, you should, if you're having a bath, you should have a rubber duck.
Yeah.
It should be like a legal thing. But the other thing she has that she really likes is just a bath book.
All right.
So she loves we've got a bath book that's just got all the letters in with some pictures in it.
Right.
And she loves a bath book. So that'll keep her entertained for quite a while in the bath.
Well, when you said bath book, I thought it was like a catalogue for bathing units.
No, it's not it's not a book of baths, as it were.
Yeah. Or is it the city that's in like the centre of England baths? We haven't got a rubber duck, but because she's from Staffordshire, Stoke-on-Trent, Derbyshire area, she's got an A-up duck, so she's got one of them.
Hey. That's a good drop, isn't it?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so toys.
Yeah, so I think the last bit that we were going to discuss before we move on to your influential woman was, do you have that point like where you're trying to wind everything down and like your daughter's going a bit, so it's basically the witching hour where you're trying to get them settled, but essentially it's like a full moon and they seem to get some energy from absolutely nowhere. Have you got anything that you kind of do that kind of gets your daughter settled, ready for that final sort of end of the day bedtime sort of thing?
I think for us probably the best thing that works is taking as much light out of the room as possible.
Yeah.
That seems to help her just go, oh right, okay, it's getting dark now, maybe I should go to sleep.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't suppose she understands maybe that it's dark, I should go to sleep, but when it's dark she can't see as much, so there's less to entertain her. I think that's probably the main thing that helps her. Cuddling into her mum always works really well.
Yeah.
So like if she's feeling a little bit tired and she cuddles into her mum, the two of them can fall asleep together quite easily, just on the bed sort of thing. And because she's still quite young, she's not too hard to move without waking her up.
Right.
So you can move her and get her into bed, and she's all right being moved and doesn't wake up as easily. If she's been cuddling into her mum, she definitely doesn't wake up very easily. She's out cold if she's been doing that. But like, yeah, turning the lights down. So if she's struggling to get to sleep, turning the lights down. Sometimes, like, I'll, if she's really struggling, I'll lower the light on my phone as much as I possibly can.
Yeah.
And we'll put something on that's like more of a chill out sort of dancing fruits type thing.
Yeah.
With like a really low volume. So it's almost like lullabies with a little bit of light almost.
Yeah.
A little bit of a picture to go with it, and that will help her to doze off if she's struggling.
Yeah.
Especially when she's been teething as well, when she's had a little bit of pain from teething, and we've dosed her up, but it's not quite kicked in yet. So like if she's had a bit of ibuprofen, it's not quite kicked in yet.
Yeah, just wait for that to.
The little video will help to just distract her.
Yeah, I was going to say, does it act as a distraction? Yeah.
Yeah, that will help her to sort of go into the sleepy land and get her to nod off. I mean, what about your little girl? Is there anything that helps with the wind down?
Well, I think with our kids, so it's basically trying to get her to get rid of any like last bit of energy as possible. So she'll because we live like this. We live like it's like 3 floors, and her bedroom's on the top floor, and we'll always do the last one upstairs is a big fat, smelly fart. And she'll be like, she has to go first. We get her running up the stairs, bouncing up and down on the bed. She'll do all those sorts of things just to kind of display a little bit more energy, getting her like more and more tired. And then we'll go back to the artwork, basically just getting her to kind of switch off. So we'll go through the same routine. We'll get her changed, wears like get her pajamas on, and then do the kind of the colouring again. So that, as I say, that signifies it like the end of the day. we don't necessarily like, we won't turn on the. We want to try and sort of say if we want to get, but it'll all start about 6:30, like nothing on the telly, and that's the biggest thing. Like she'll kick off if she wants to go upstairs and watch, and maybe Mika on the television in our bedroom, and we have to kind of say no, and that's the battle. So we have to. It's that distraction, trying to get distracted. Right, let's go do some art. Let's go do something a little bit more kind of relaxing. So she is that in that frame of mind, and then once we've done the artwork, we'll read her those books, and then she's. It depends how much she tries to push her luck. So I'm a bit easier to kind of kid into getting maybe 2 or 3 books, where my wife will be like, we'll do 1 book. So we kind of swapped tonight. So my wife was with my daughter tonight, and she was like, right, just the 1 book, and it'll always be the Gruffalo. So we'll watch the Gruffalo. Sorry, read the Gruffalo. Maybe do Witch on the Broom, and possibly Stomp Dinosaur Stomp, and then it's like lights out, and we're lights out, and away we go. So that's usually kind of. We just need to get better at it. So sometimes we can be done for sort of 7:30. Other times I'm in there still sort of 8:20. And she just about nods off. So it's that little routine, making sure there's no sort of screen time after a certain time. We've got the artwork that she'll fall back on, that routine, and she knows when to go to bed. She'll tidy up, and she has to do it properly. So that's the end of it. That's how we kind of deal with that witching hour. I think there is a switch that goes on. My sister goes through the same with her kid. So about 5:30. It's just like the peak. Just kind of the adrenaline kicks back in again. I've got the energy for this. It's got to go through it all again. So just getting her to kind of run around the house. That thing on YouTube where she's dancing around, that's pretty cool. I was just trying to get her tired as possible before we could relax. We can go from there.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. And that's the end of the day. We go again.
Yeah.
Next day, so I'll be on tomorrow morning. So we'll see. She was quite good this morning. 6:30 she got up. So we see hopefully see what time she wakes up tomorrow morning before we're doing all the artwork and getting all the puzzles out. And she can see that the letter R's missing from a thing. It's got to be somewhere that.
Yeah, and getting ready for your swim.
Oh yeah. Gotta wait for that. We've got a set of goggles for her this time. She's not entirely sure what it works, but
nice.
like what they're for. But she doesn't half look like Elton John when she's got them on. So I
Nice.
I don't know if she'll wear it. We'll see. But that buzzing for that.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah.
Be good. We're taking our little girl swimming tomorrow. Actually, we're probably going to go to a sensory swim tomorrow.
100% worth it.
Yeah, and she loves the water. So always good.
So last week, then it was my turn to get the influential woman. It was the England goalkeeper Mary. So who've you got to bring to the table this week?
So both of us are really into our music, aren't we?
Yeah.
So we've done musical ventures together, and we've both done bands and things like that.
Yep.
So we listen to a lot of music. So I tried to choose somebody that was a musician that's been influential within like a genre, I suppose.
Yep.
Like I listen to loads and loads of different music. Some of it is like male fronted bands, some of it's female fronted, and I listen to quite a lot of pop music as well, which has got a lot of female singers in. But I try to choose somebody for their merit of the music rather than anything else.
Right.
I think with modern music especially, I'm going to sound really old for saying this, sometimes it's more about the way you look than the music itself.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is frustrating because there's some of the people that do that are really talented musicians, and they try and make it more about how it looks rather than what it sounds like.
Right.
So the person that I've chosen is Hayley Williams. Most people will know her from the band Paramore.
Mm-hmm.
And she's been kicking about doing musical things for a long, long time now. So Paramore's first album came out in 2005, but she's always been about the music. And that's kind of the big thing with her. She's been nominated for so many awards and won loads of different stuff. Yeah. Like including like she's been nominated for Grammys and all sorts.
Right. So
like really big things. Sometimes as the musician, as the performer, she's been nominated for stuff as a producer as well. So she's kind of got it covered. But I mean, the big thing about her for me is that she sort of broke a boundary within like the pop punk and emo type scene. Yeah. In that there weren't really that many female fronted bands within that genre at the time that she started doing that. And there weren't really many that made it happen, sort of that made that music get to the masses, as it were.
Yeah.
So she was part of a band that obviously was really successful and got sort of female-fronted emo pop punk type music to the masses and into the charts as well. Like she did some stuff with. Do you remember B.O.B? They did Aeroplane.
Yes.
Airplane. Sorry.
Yeah.
And then like I saw her on that tour, and she had B.O.B as the support act. So
Yeah.
it was Paramore with B.O.B supporting. But she's also done her own solo stuff as well. And I think the thing that's been consistently really good about her is that no matter what she's done, she's took the music in the direction that she wanted it to go in, rather than listening to sort of what record labels would say and say, oh, you've got to make it sound like this. She's always kind of done it how she wanted to do it.
Yeah.
Paramore is still going, obviously, but she's done her solo stuff and she's worked with loads of other people as well. And then one of the other things that's really lovely about her is that she's used sort of her sort of social media presence to say, oh, I really like this band, go and check them out. She's got nothing to do with the production of their music or anything.
Yeah.
She's just gone, I like them, go and
Go
have
and
a listen.
Yeah, advocating for them as well.
And yeah, which is really nice because it means that other bands are doing really well off the back of her making recommendations. And it's not in a selfish way either, it's in a completely selfless way because she's got nothing to do with those artists or musicians. So yeah, my influential lady this week will be Hayley Williams from Paramore.
Yeah, definitely. So I think that she got that longevity as well, because I think you mentioned like with the pop industry, it's that kind of, you're in for a very short period of time and then you're back out again. But as I said, and as you've mentioned, she's been going for ages. So, mate, I really like that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one. So, your turn next week.
Yeah, I've got to get thinking. Yeah,
intrigued to see where you go. So we've done sport, we've done music. Where could you go next?
Yeah,
that'll be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we'll have to have a look. Yeah. I'd like to maybe something with STEM. So obviously, we're being a sort of IT teacher. STEM's a massive point, and it's always quite cool when you see like a student that's come up and she's picked one of the STEM subjects, especially computing. Women in computing, it's there's something that they're trying to push. So maybe someone in STEM. I think I've got a bit of an idea.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, so we'll go from that.
That'd be good. Yeah, fantastic.
So this week then we've talked about obviously the more entertaining side of things. I think some of the other stuff that we've covered previously is not as joyful as the entertainment side of things, but it's always stuff that we need to consider, because you always need to try and strike that balance between something that's entertaining and something that's educational as well, and reducing that screen time and using the iPad or whatever without being that kind of or being a bit like worried that you're doing that too much. So we've looked at some of the bases there. We've compared, what it's like with a 10-month-old and the kind of the toys that your daughter uses, and like how my daughter's progressed onto some of the bigger, more battery powered stuff and things like that. Yeah. And then we finished off with Hayley Williams there being the influential woman of the week. So yeah, lots covered. We tried to keep it under an hour, but I think it's just gone a little bit over. So yeah, thanks so much again. Remember to kind of have a look at our socials. So in the Doll's House Pod is our Instagram. We're also going to stop trying to set up a YouTube video. That's going to take a little bit more kind of content creator side and takes a bit more time. But we've got the podcasts are available on there now. We've got the In the Doll's House YouTube channel. So hopefully we can start building content for them. But in the meantime, thanks again for joining us this week. And we very much look forward to playing with you once again next week in the Doll's House.